I am tired, really tired, but it is Thursday, and this week that means that tomorrow I'm going racing, so I am very excited about that. But we do have a lot of cows to trim before we can get in the car and go and do fun stuff. Although trimming is pretty fun sometimes, to be fair. Did you remember?
I remembered, yes.
How many have we got?
At least 40.
At least 40?
At least 40.
Oh, that's more than usual.
That is.
Oh well, let's get to it. Whoa! It's heavy. Yep. I'm also going out for dinner tonight with my brother-in-law, which is always the case because I have a million brother-in-laws. But I'm also going out with Al's cousins, who does those amazing pictures. Brother James, Parker Sculpture, and brother Bob. So really, really looking forward to that tonight. Although I booked a place that does sushi, and Al's and Derek probably hate that kind of thing, so should be interesting. Cows are ready and waiting, which is nice. Hi! Look at this. I've got one of the tractormen shouting at me. This is a Russian guy. This is a man from Russia. Salam alaikum. He is such a nice guy. He's been here as long as I've been here. In fact, a year longer.
So in case you hadn't guessed it, Sławik actually isn't Russian. I only say that to infuriate him because people confuse him all the time. He's from Poland and he is a fantastic guy. I've come to know him really well and love him and like him like a friend over the past 14 or 15 years. So it's really cool to see him every so often when we visit this farm. For a change, I've done something a little bit different with this video. As you can tell, I'm talking a little bit more candidly. I just left the video camera run, do its own thing, and film all of the feet that came in during this visit. We come to this farm every 2 weeks, and we usually trim around 40 to 50 cows, most of which are just routine trims, like what you can see in the background right now. They really don't need all that much at all. She had a little tiny touch of digital dermatitis, which is why I'm spraying her back feet with that Repoderma. But yeah, I just left the video camera run its own course during the whole time we were there. So some of the footage is not going to be fantastic, but stick with me folks because it is still worth watching. The way it works at this farm is we set up our entire race, and actually for a change Craig gets a bit of a day off. Well, I say a day off, he doesn't have to get the cows in, and Graeme isn't with us today because he's back at home editing these videos. Other people on this farm bring the cows in, so we are mercy to them. We are at the mercy of how fast, or sometimes how slow they bring the cows, so things can go extremely quickly, or very slowly if they've got lots of other things on. You see, we're working through the parlour, and cows don't usually come up this way through the parlour. They head the other way, and cows are habitual creatures, so any deviance from the norm, and they really, really don't like it, which means sometimes they can be a nightmare to get up the race, as it were, or the parlour in this case. Here is a cow that has a little trim needing done. No, nothing much at all. This is a routine trim. Again, the vast majority of what we do at this farm are routine trims. As you can see right now, she doesn't need much taken off at all. The main part of the trim is to model out the typical sole ulcer site. So you can see me right now working on that far claw, trimming the inside claw to make sure the balance is correct, and then I dish out the main area that we find sole ulceration or bruising or anything like that. And the whole idea is to basically build a bridge so that every time the cow steps, that part of her foot can flex down into the ground and it accommodates the pedal bone high above. So if we didn't cove out or model out or dish out that interior part of her foot, every time she steps, the pedal bone is bashing down on her corium. So by coving or bridging that part out, it allows air to travel in between that part of the claws, and in other words, there's a void where the pedal bone can descend down into, so it doesn't bash into the corium. It just gives it space to wiggle, basically. Here's another cow who is suffering from digital dermatitis. You can clearly see it on that far claw. You can see the little telltale signs of the red hue coming through at her heel. But she also has a very, very slight amount on this back left foot. I clean it all off. This isn't just water spray, it's chlorhexidine. So basically it's like Hibby scrub, what surgeons use when they're cleaning off their hands and anything round about, like paraphernalia used in surgery. It disinfects the area completely, but it's kind to the cow's feet as well, so it doesn't hurt them at all. But it does sanitize the area, meaning that when we put our topical spray on, the green stuff that you see all the time, it'll stick and it will be unhindered by bacteria, so it can get fully to work on everything that it touches without being encumbered by bad bacteria being in the area. I finish off the trims completely before opening up that interdigital space and spraying it as liberally as I possibly can. A lot of people you'll see holding the can really up close and trying to spray it up in there, but what happens then is the propellant that is inside that can, so the liquid, just sprays so hard that all of the topical solution, the actual green part of the spray, gets blown out to the sides and doesn't stay. That's why on the back of cans it usually says spray at around 10 centimeters of distance to whatever you're spraying, so that it can actually build up a layer. Again, another example of a routine trim. You can see she kicked there. That's because she can feel the vibrations of the grinder going through her feet. And obviously she doesn't like it. It's not normal for her at all. This paddle, the black part you can see underneath the foot, really does help to steady the feet, but at the same time, if the ropes around her legs were too tight, they would hurt. So we can't have them too tight, which also means they can actually wiggle and move a little bit. So sometimes you'll see me hitting the little lever just above their feet to make sure they are as tight as possible. This crush has restrictors on it, so it'll never over tighten the ropes. I want it to be as tight as the machine will allow it to be. She has longer dew claws as well, so we're just trimming them back with this purple disc. The disc that I use is specifically for hoof trimming. It's called a Rotoclip Round, and it's actually the most aggressive trimming disc that you can get in the world of hoof trimming. Weirdly, and I found this really difficult to understand to begin with, but the fewer blades a disc has, the more aggressive it is. You would think, logic would tell you, that if a disc had 8 or 9 blades, it would be more aggressive than one with 2. But if you think about it, one with only 2 blades on that round disc has more of a gap between each cut. So if you think about it, one rotation of a blade will make 2 cuts if it has 2 blades. It will make 10 cuts if it has 10 blades. So there is more time between each rotation of the disc and each rotation of the blade with only 2 blades, meaning that each blade takes more material away. If that makes any sense to you, I'll be quite impressed. But basically, the fewer blades that are in a disc, the more aggressive it is. And the one that we're using here only has 3 blades in it, so it is one of the most aggressive blades that you can possibly get. This cow has a small sole ulcer on that near claw that you can see, so by gluing this block in place, it'll lift up that outer claw off the ground and alleviate the pain and the pressure away from that site. But I'm going to dish it out as deeply as I possibly can. It's quite good actually. This is real time, so it's completely unedited, and you can see how quickly that glue sets up. So it takes around 3 or 4 seconds for it to stiffen up sufficiently for me to be able to let go of the block completely. And now I've dished it all out, I just dress it with iodine to dry up the outer portions of the ulcer itself. And because digital dermatitis is prevalent on this farm, we also wrap it up just to make sure that digital dermatitis doesn't hinder the healing process of the claw, because that's the last thing you want. Obviously, as the hoof horn is regrowing, if there was digital dermatitis present there, it would be eating it away as it's reforming. So it'd be like trying to bake a cake but eating it at the same time. You would never get a complete cake. Although I probably wouldn't bother trying to eat a cow's hoof. Again, here is another routine trim. It's quite good to show you so many of these, because I do really worry sometimes with only showing you problematic cows that everybody gets the wrong idea of the dairy industry. Most cows have no problems whatsoever. The vast majority of feet that we trim are only routine jobs, as you can see right now. That is a beautiful claw. And although it is routine, if you look at that far away claw, the part I'm trimming right this second, it is slightly bruised. So the routine part of it is vitally important. As I get the knife there, you can see the entire sole has a slight red tinge to it. And I've reduced the entire height of that outer claw, so now it won't bruise anymore. And hopefully won't turn into a proper problem. Right, I'm going to shut up for a little second and just let you enjoy what we are doing. It would be quite interesting actually if you could try and narrate it in your own head in my voice to see if you can understand everything that I'm doing. What would I be saying if I was narrating these next few feet?
Going 4 feet there, and I think they were way too bright.
So how did you do with that foot? Let me know in the comments if you think you did a pretty good job in your own head of narrating it. Did you realise that she had digital dermatitis? Did you know that's called salicylic acid? You should do, because I say it enough. That is this cow done and dusted. And it's time to move on to the next one, which seems to have magically appeared from nowhere. She has a deep white line problem that somebody else has been trimming, and it's our job to try to make sure that that is headed on the right way and the healing process is well underway. Most of my farms will intervene with early onset lameness. So in other words, almost all of the farms that we attend do have their own crushes, and the people who work there have limited skills as to how to treat those problems. So we really encourage them as much as possible to get a cow that goes lame into the crush and do what they can to make her more comfortable. A, it's good for the cow because it means she's on the road to recovery when we see her. B, it's good for us because the healing process has already started. And C, it's good for the farmer because any cow that gets over lameness is a more productive cow. So the quicker the better. And usually the quicker they get over lameness, the quicker and more complete the healing process actually ends up being. So time is absolutely of the essence. This is a particularly nasty one, as you can see. That is a wall ulcer. That iodine is there to hopefully shrivel and shrink it all up and provide a protective dehydrated area so that the ulcer itself can actually start the healing process, and it'll start to granulate over the next week or so. Hoof horn will form in about 2 weeks, and after about 4 weeks she should have it completely healed but not be thick enough to walk on. So we will see this cow again in about 4 weeks just to replace that block or to make sure that it's still in place or whatever. We want to make sure that this cow doesn't just heal from it but actually heals long term and is fully healed. Our job is the long term care of these cows. It's not just a quick make it a little bit better, see if she walks a bit better for a week or two. We really want to get them fully over these episodes of lameness, and that often requires multiple visits. It's an ongoing process, it's an evolution of the problem. When you have a problem like that on any foot, we usually expect some sort of those issues to be mirrored on the opposite foot. And you can actually see in the top right hand corner of this cow's foot, there's a crack in exactly the same place as the ulcer was on the other foot. So us reducing that entire sole should stop this materialising on that one. It's not important to get the crack completely away. It's important to make sure that the height difference between the two claws is negligible. In other words, tiny, minute. We're trying to balance them, and if we balance them properly, that small crack won't materialise into a proper problem. You can see a lot of jostling here. You don't always see that in my videos. The cows do not like being in the crush. Who would? I know for a fact I would not want to be restrained in a crush, and I would kick and I would shout and I would bawl and I would make all sorts of nonsense. But as you can see, the cows do calm down after a little while. And that's not just because they're restrained and can't move. Them being restrained actually calms them down. A fantastic woman in America who has autism called Temple Grandin actually discovered that cows being cradled or slightly squeezed calms them down. It doesn't just restrain them, if that makes sense. They actually feel more calm. So much so that she built herself a crush. That's right, a human crush. So a kind of big squishy box thing inside her house, and if she was feeling sort of overwhelmed or stressed out or anything because of her autism, she would get into this crush, or still does actually, and squeeze herself, and she would feel more relaxed. That does not sound like it's true, but trust me, it is. Here's a cow who has had a very, very serious problem on her toe area. We've seen this cow multiple times, and I know that A, because I can tell that we've trimmed her a few times and I can tell our style of trimming, but B, much more obviously, our computer tells us so. And if a cow comes in who's been seen before, as soon as you type her number into the computer, it flashes up that we've seen her before, and Craig will let me know when we last saw her, what was wrong with her, and how many times we've seen her roughly in the last 6 or 7 months or so. This cow had been seen about 4 or 5 times for a toe ulcer, and as you can see, she still has it partially going on, but it's not that bad now, so we are making progress with it. Slow progress. Any problem in a cow's toe area is incredibly hard to fix. They cannot hide from it at all, because every single step they take must involve their toe. They can tiptoe around, so if a cow has a problem on her heel, she is available? She is able to completely avoid that area, which is why sometimes you'll get really high growth in the heels of a cow if she has a problem in her heel. You'll regularly hear me say that it's not overgrowth, it's underwear. And that is exactly what happens when a cow avoids her heels.
That's a sore one, isn't it? It's okay, Craig, don't worry, you have to clean up.
I just didn't want people wondering what the noise was in the background.
That's okay.
You didn't quite hear it there, but Craig was apologising for making noise with the hose. This is a particularly sore looking sole ulcer, isn't it?
You're a wrap for that, please. We're getting on pretty well. Couple of problems though. Slow you right down.
And unfortunately, as you're just about to find out, they're not my only problems today.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Well, this is true.
This is true.
I'll take the compliments where I get them, you know.
Well, they don't come often.
That's it.
Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you're too embarrassed to shout for help?
Right then.
Great. Nip to the toilet, which is beautiful. And I'm locked in. Great. The glamorous life of the Hoof GP.
I should have known.
Also, no phone signal.
Only been in here 15 minutes. Managed to get Craig on the phone though. Thank you, Craig.
I can't believe I had to stop doing what I was doing to come let you out the toilet.
My heart bleeds, Craig.
You've been sitting in here the whole morning. And guess what I've been doing? What?
I was stuck in the toilet
How?
for about 20 minutes because
What?
the handle didn't work. and then Craig wouldn't answer his phone.
That doesn't look a very good toilet in there, too.
No, it's not good.
I was in that toilet.
Not good at all, and I was totally stuck in it. What you want to show me?
That's a cool angle. Go back. That angle was cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool too. But I meant the one from above. That one. That's a cool.
It's quite cool.
It's really cool, actually.
I feel quite good.
Yeah. What you want to show me?
Like, wait a minute, what is it though? I can't remember now. It's quite long, isn't it?
It is getting long, yeah.
I should have actually thought I'm gonna put this first.
This is a big video that Graham's editing. It's over 40 minutes long just now.
It'll definitely be about half an hour when it's done.
Really good fun making that video, actually.
It was quite
It's a good video, isn't it?
Like doing, yeah. Right.
Go on then, what is
That
it?
is not deliberate. Is there a problem here?
I think it's here somewhere, I think.
Is that an ulcer? So this cow didn't look lame when she went into the crush.
I remember that fit.
You're gonna call BS on that, aren't you guys, for watching this?
Using semi-bad language there.
Definitely didn't notice her before.
This isn't very interesting, Graham, I'll be honest. This is what you wanted to show me?
By the way, is a gate.
Listen, you ready?
I'm ready.
Put it on here.
Go on then.
Moving up behind the cows in the collecting yard. It lets the cows know that the gate's coming, so that they can move their bums. Oh, that.
You did, didn't you? Move it like I tell you.
Okay, fair enough. I did say move the rums, but I didn't mean it in a moo kind of way. I meant it in like a move the rums.
I was buzzing when I heard that.
I'm quite disappointed that you were right about something. It was bound to happen by the law of averages. That was going to happen at some point.
I suppose.
In a world of infinite universes, Graham,
Aye.
it was going to happen. Anyway, that was a cake. And that is a Derek Jolly. See, another brother-in-law. So we're on our way to Edinburgh tonight to have dinner with Al's cousins, Brother James, Brother Bob, and Derek Jolly. And it's sushi. You're looking forward to it, aren't you? Maybe.
Pretty obvious.
And you don't mean food. There she is. I struggle to pass any Costa coffee. Although the last time I was in here, the woman who served us got such a fright she nearly threw my coffee at me. How crazy is that view? Look, there's loads of me. It's brilliant, isn't it? Isn't it, Derek?
That's the best view there.
Ooh. Look at that for a bar.
Fancier than me.
I need to pay for this, so you need to be in a video. Do you like it? How's that going?
Awesome.
How good does that look? You actually using chopsticks?
King for the palate. I think you can run your own here.
You looking forward to this?
It's not much. There hasn't been many ovens.
It's amazing, isn't it, Bob? Honestly.
No, it really is.
Honestly.
It's good. I promise it's good.
How good does that look? And that. What's that?
Cheesecake.
White chocolate cheesecake.
You need to try them.
Do you want one of your donuts, Al? And yes, I don't really drink manly drinks. That is what you call?
Sour martini.
Mind you, my company is not exactly manly either. Pinky. Welcome to Scotland! You literally couldn't make that up, could you? There are some really, really, really cool cars here. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. I'm gonna take it out, but it's raining and I'm scared to crash it, to be totally honest. Can't afford to fix it if I do.
finally got sunny.
I know for a lot of people this isn't their cup of tea, but for me it's an absolute dream come true, and sharing it with my brother-in-law Derek makes it all the better. I love this world. The sound of V8s, V10s and V12s absolutely screaming their head off and being pushed to their absolute limit. Nothing takes your mind off anything like this does.
This could be dangerous. Nervous much?
No.
Good luck, mate. He is so nervous. He's asking me to go with him, but I said no.
And that brings that to an end. It's been a busy week of hoof trimming, socialising with friends, and thrashing that thing to the absolute limit. Thanks for watching this video.